All right, good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's enjoying summer. The public has been duly informed of this meeting in accordance with the Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 by posting at least 48 hours in advance a notice on the bulletin boards in Stevenson and Churchill schools, a notice to the township clerk, and a notice to the Herald News and the Progress. Now please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, public comments on agenda items only. How are you? Please come up, state your name and address.
Mr. Pierce, that's correct. As of right now, yes.
Okay, so in our budget, we had 4.
Correct.
Now, this, the aid, that we get $110,000?
I'm sorry?
The aid,
Oh, extraordinary aid? Yes, that was the award for last year.
so in our budget, we had 0.
We budgeted 0, because you never know what,
I'm just asking the question.
yes.
So you have 110. Now, I was told that could be used for anything now? Or you can use it for next year's budget?
We were going to appropriate it tonight into this current year's budget. I'm actually pulling that resolution. I'm withdrawing it because I want to be able to speak to Mrs. Cafone and Ryan tomorrow about a better use for it.
Okay, so it could be used for anything?
Yes.
And then Tiny Treasures. Could they put the amount of what they're charging Tiny Treasures?
It's the same amount as last year, $9,500.
Okay, same. And one last one was, on this park, I guess the paving, so that's gonna be behind Churchill, or how's that gonna work?
Yes, it's behind Churchill. Can someone help me out with the paving? Anthony, would you mind jumping in for a minute?
Sure. So we were approached by the police department recently, actually in the beginning of the summer, and they expressed a concern, since busing was removed, on how that would affect the traffic flow on both Fairfield Road and Hollywood Avenue. So we've had several meetings with Chief of Police, Chief Manna, and the township, and we've worked diligently over the past month and a half to come up with a plan that would suffice, that would take an additional 60 cars and put them behind our school in the flow of traffic in which we use now, utilizing the walking path that is there now and adding a separate lane, separate in between the grass, coming around in a circle and pulling back out. So when that was proposed, it seemed to be sufficient enough to keep Officer Carmine and the police department happy so that we can remove those cars from the street.
Did we have an architect draw the plans or the specs on that?
Our architect did, yes.
And how much was he?
Actually, because of the board and the situation that we're in, we were able to get that for nothing. The architect donated that drawing for us.
So he's paying us back for the rod grant?
He was generous enough to provide the drawing to the district at no cost.
So, so I have questions about busing, but there's not on the agenda, so I have to come back.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Pierce. Anyone else on public comments on agenda items only? Okay, moving along.
All right, I'll start with personnel. Anything placed in this consent agenda, items A through C, we'll vote upon in one motion. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second. I did.
Yes.
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 Curriculum and program. Again, anything placed in this consent agenda, items A through M, will also be voted upon in one motion. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call. Ms. Jandoli?
Yes.
Mr. Feedy?
Yes.
Ms. Street?
Yes.
And Mr. DePascal?
Yes.
Policy, anything placed in this consent agenda item A will be voted upon in one motion. And do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Roll call, Ms. Jandoli?
Yes.
Mr. Feedy?
Yes.
Ms. Street?
Yes.
And Mr. DePascal?
Yes.
Okay, on business section, the bottom of page 8, I'm asking for a consent agenda on items A through P, with the exception of E. I'm asking the board to withdraw E for the future board meeting. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, Ms. Jandoli?
Yes.
Mr. Feedy?
Yes.
Ms. Street?
Yes.
And Mr. DePascal?
Yes. And I abstain from
N?
N. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Contracts, administrative?
Then we skip one.
You did everything.
Okay, so I'd like to
did.
take this opportunity, and I'd like to welcome Mr. Lindsley. Wally is going to be our new business administrator, so welcome to the Fairfield School District. We're very pleased with our superintendent selection, and we look forward to working with you in the future. So thank you for being here tonight. If anyone has any questions or would just like to say hello, Mr. Lindsley will be here for the remainder of the meeting. So thank you and congratulations. Welcome to Fairfield.
Said he's available all night if you really want.
Okay. Anyone have anything under old business? Anyone under new business?
I don't know if it's new, but Alan Pierce, 15 Cold Street. On the busing,
Yes,
okay. So you're doing away with busing.
yes.
How many buses are you gonna have?
Not all busing. State mandated,
How many buses are you gonna have this year?
I believe 4.
4, 2 at each school?
I believe so, yes. Plus our special ed ones.
So how many students are 2 miles away? Do you have a number?
I don't have the number with me. Anna Marie Harsh would have that. She won't return until Monday. She can give you that information.
Okay. So 2 buses at each location, so 50 kids in a bus or 45?
Yeah, it varies, yes.
Okay, because it's a state form, I guess. You tell the state how many kids are out of the 2 miles area?
Normally for the DTRS, that information is filed with that one, yes.
So I think in this year, I think there's, this year, there's going to be 117 kids. The state report shows.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you have 117, you got 4 buses, you're going to have some empty seats, right?
I
Yeah.
don't know where you're getting the 117 from.
From this,
I understand that, but I don't know where that number comes from. I can only tell you what we're reporting, and I don't have that information, because Anna
this
Marie
comes from
keeps.
the office of the,
No, I know that.
but you don't give it to them. Somebody, I would think Fairfield would have to give them the number, right?
We fill out a report every year around October 15th. It's called a DTRS, and it is submitted, and every year it changes, it fluctuates.
So you don't know how many, but you're picking 4 buses though.
We selected 4 based on the preliminary numbers of the surveys that went out early on, yes. And right now, that's what we have.
How many numbers is that? What's that number? Oh, you don't.
I don't know that,
Okay.
because the numbers change for morning runs and afternoon runs.
And also, the bus has to have enough seating to facilitate the to and return trip for whoever's utilizing Tiny Treasures. So please keep in mind that number. And again, we don't know what you're looking at. We obviously will get you the correct numbers, but if it, okay, so it,
I don't know who gives it to the state.
yeah,
Somebody from Fairfield has to give it.
yeah. And unfortunately, we don't have that information for us tonight. but
It
we'll
sounds about, I
definitely-
gotta be honest,
yeah.
it sounds about right.
Yeah.
So I was interested to see what you were gonna say next.
Yeah,
So what I'm saying is, last year, I bus contract was, $537,000, $531,40. So
Okay.
that was for the whole contract, for not the special ed.
Right.
Just regular bus.
Right,
The parents paid $260,000.
correct.
And you got the state aid was $74,000,
Yeah, okay.
because they took out the special ed.
Okay.
They're together.
Mhm.
So,
That leaves us at 196, 140.
yeah. So, out of the budget, out of the money this Board of Ed paid was like $200,000.
Yeah.
200,000. Now we're gonna spend 43 for asphalt going in there. Traffic all over the place. I think it's worth keeping the buses.
So I can't speak as to why this decision was made. We've done it in the past repeatedly. But I can tell you that the asphalt behind Churchill is a necessity. It's coming from the police chief that this needs to be addressed.
Away with busing.
Yes.
If you didn't do away with busing, you wouldn't have to ask.
So I guess what I'll add, that's a non-recurring cost.
I was just going to say it's a one-time
The
cost.
budget every year would be affected by the
Busing.
gross dollar amount, not a net cash out. So that was the biggest, you're talking $535,000 expense line budget, which is how it was explained to me in this wonderful world of budgeting that we live in. That number means the most.
Yeah, but you won't have that now.
I know we won't now.
4 buses. But you budgeted, that year, you budgeted $1 million for bus transportation.
But now you're adding in the rest of the
The rest
special
of the
ed
budget.
and whatever
Special ed
else.
is $284,000.
Yeah, but
You get money for special ed buses.
when you opened this the first time, I thought you gave him a nice breakout of how we got to that number. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I know the numbers made sense. And the 535, now granted, it's still gonna cost us something because we have out of 2 mile radius. I think the net that we would no longer have to budget an expense was 350. To me, that's a lot of money. It's been a lot of money for 15 years.
Now, so you're saying,
Okay, thank you. Last year, the cost for the ridership for those people with subscription busing, that really went up significantly. That's how we got the 260. But you're also netting it out, and normally that's not how the auditor does it. He wants to see you budget the full cost, because if you're issuing a purchase order, you have to budget the full cost of that expense.
this was revenue then. You're getting $260,000.
That's correct. Right, that's correct.
The transportation.
But it's still an
In
expense.
a business world,
Yeah.
I got you.
Absolutely right.
But the expense is the expense, and that's what we're trying to free up. Listen, this affects me just as much as anybody else. My wife's got to be in 2 spots next year before she goes to work. So I get it.
If you own a house in town, the value of the house is based a lot on the schools district.
Oh, yeah. That's why I moved back
I
here.
mean, that's why, we
I'm
have to
with
look
you.
at it.
I'm with you. I moved back here for this school district, and I can't wait till we get to the point where people move here because they see our grades. And our focus in this meeting every month is no longer finance and is about grades and performance. Because that's what we're trying to get to, and we keep stumbling over dollars. And I can appreciate it, don't get me wrong, but I'm so tired of talking about dollars, it actually makes me sick. I want to talk about education. We need to free up this money.
Too.
It is safety,
You
which
look
is what,
at the state law, I mean, not the state, comes out and says the safest way to transport a student is bus. Over
not
car.
based on some of the bus drivers I've met in this town.
Yeah.
The one that was on Route 80 last year? The one, well, let's not even go there, I agree. But the one that was on Route 80 last year, I'm sure those parents did not have a good night's sleep.
You, from years ago, and, I have cousins that live in town, and their children are now in their 50s, and she'll say to me, but we had this years ago. The cost of transportation has gone up 100, 200-fold. But parents today like to drop their kids off at school. They like to carpool. So the ridership on the buses is not what you think it should be, because they
We had
don't
empty
utilize
spots
it.
all over. There were some people that paid and still brought their kids to school.
So
I'm one of them, Mr. Pierce. I paid for the bus and I drop my daughter off every day.
Yeah.
So did you have to go out for bid on the 4 buses, or did you?
I'm sorry. That is handled through Sussex County for us. That's what we do through It's handled because we tier our routes with West Essex, so they handle that and they bid it.
So, but you could work off last year's contract, it just goes.
Sometimes they do that if it's based on the CPI, and if it goes above it, then,
Bottom of the
yes,
contract, it
that's
does.
correct.
So your 4 routes, figure that's $200, $200,000.
I'm figuring that, yes.
But you're budgeted 870 some thousand.
I budgeted in two places, for the special ed routes and for the regular mandated routes.
And on your line budget, transportation is 870 some thousand dollars.
But that's the combination of two.
Too. But special ed, now, how's special ed, you have out of district,
We have out of district, so
one out of
we have one right now.
right now. And what other special ed, there's buses for local kids that go?
The one that's the cheapest is the one that's local. That's the cheapest.
Other students that go to Churchill and Stevenson, special ed, do they get
So,
bused?
yes, they do. There's one bus that's special ed in district, and then there's the other special ed routes that go out of district.
Okay, so that four buses doesn't include this one, so we have total 5.
Yeah, and as Anna Marie said to you, I don't have the cost yet, because normally they send us that sheet, and I sent that to you last year for you to see the breakdown. I don't have that yet. When we get it, we'll give it to you.
All right, so that's 200 for the 4 buses, and I think and last year you had 2 buses for special ed, local.
We had 2 buses for special ed, 2 buses that we budgeted for, and at the beginning of September, they didn't need the second bus, so that was canceled.
So, in special ed, we have like $700,000 in the budget for special ed.
Okay. I'll grant you that. I'm not sure, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but okay.
We know you got it memorized. We know.
So right now, we only have 1,
One, that's correct.
so there's extra money in that budget.
Right now, there is.
However,
Right.
we
wait,
always, someone can move in tomorrow.
That's good news, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
I know you're a board member for a long time.
Yeah.
That's good news. I like the extra money thing.
No, I understand that, because one person moves in, you need.
Yeah,
But how much you need, who knows, right?
right. It's never enough. That's true.
So there is extra money in transportation.
Right now, there is, yes.
All right.
Were you going to tell us what you wanted us to do with that, or? I thought you were going, like, because you're pointing out all the extra money. I just didn't realize we had so
I'm
much.
just saying there is extra money.
Okay.
Thank you.
listen,
We're aware.
hey,
We
we're doing a
appreciate
great
you
job up here.
reiterating with,
Teachers got to stay around.
yeah.
We don't have to cut teachers, nothing.
Yeah.
That's, we were here 2 years ago, so that's, extra money works.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Pierce. Anything else under new business? Committee reports? Anyone have anything?
Yeah.
I'll speak for Angela in regards to negotiations. We're still working diligently with our teachers, and we are going to do everything in our power to get this contract settled before the start of the school year for what is fair and equitable for the teachers, in which we cannot have a district without, which we adore and which we entrust with our children on a daily basis. So, anyone else?
Buildings and grounds?
Buildings and grounds, the only,
You want me to do it?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, so the roofing project was completed. There may be an additional portion of the roof that gets completed, but that's to be determined. Obviously, we've talked about the paving project. And up next is the boiler replacement, which hopefully we'll have an update shortly on that.
Go ahead, Mr. Pierce.
Come on.
You get 3 a night, Mr. Pierce. You're on 2. Come on up.
Just on the roofing, you said that, you had extra money in there, there was 500 and some thousand for the roof, and then you had 113 for extra plywood. which
Right.
needed it,
Yeah,
and 300 and something for mold. Did we use all that money?
No,
we did not.
we did
Can I
not.
jump in on that, Joe?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, the way it looks right now, Kathleen, jump in with the numbers. About 70% of our roof is new at Churchill, right? And we do have money that was allocated for that project left over. And right now, what the board is dealing with, since the heavy rain the last couple weeks, the area in which was not repaired is leaking. So I'll use a round number, Kathleen. If you have the exact number, please let me know. It was roughly budgeted around $800,000 for the roof. I think right now we're around 620. If we can get the remaining roof fixed for the initial cost for half of what it was, the board will probably proceed. So we could check that box off of 25-year warranty for Churchill from this day moving forward. The life expectancy of these roofs are anywhere between 20 and 25 years. The portion, the 30% that's not done is 20 years old. So it would make sense if we can to repair the whole entire roof for what was allocated for just 50% of it. I think that would be a really big win financially for the district and for the school. And listen, frankly, for the teachers and the kids that are in that building, because it seems like once we repair one part of the roof, another part's leaking, and it ultimately affects everybody. It affects our children, their education, it affects our teachers. So if we can, tackle that project for our initial money allocated, I think it'll be a win-win.
And one last comment, Mr. Pierce. Any money that's left over in that line has to go back into the capital reserve.
Can you come up, Mr. Pierce, just so for the people at home? Just hit the button. There you go.
Okay, so, will you use an architect to do the roof again? The part that wasn't done?
So if, again, Kathleen, correct me if I'm wrong, the architect put the initial bid out. Arco from Fairfield, Arco Roofing is the contractor doing the roof. So at this point, I don't think there's any architectural fees needed. It's just finish the remainder of the roof.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you have extra money that was there?
We do.
All right.
Anything else under committee reports? Public comments on non-agenda items? If no one has anything, I'd like to just take a minute and acknowledge Kathleen. I think in order for a district to run properly, there has to be a lot of pieces of the puzzle that fit. And I think when Kathleen came in, it was a very intricate piece of steering Fairfield in the right direction. And I think since then, things have begun to fall into place to have a much brighter future for our students, our teachers, our community, the board itself, the foundations that work hand in hand with us. And I'd like to personally thank you, and I know on behalf of the Board of Education, we are so thankful that you were the interim that landed here, and you being here and, and Mr. Gupta joining us and Mr. Lindsay coming on board, I really feel like the district is heading in the right direction. And I know that sitting up here is not always easy, and what we have to say is not always what you want to hear, but I could tell you wholeheartedly that this board and the administrative officers that are in this room care about the district, they care about our students, they care about their futures, they care about our teachers, and it was a blessing having you. So good luck, and we are going to miss you.
Thank you. I've enjoyed my stay here 100%. I really respect all of you, current and past, and I look forward to Wally moving forward in this position and helping everybody I do. Thank you. Thank you for
Kathleen.
everything.
Good luck. Okay, next meeting. Be it resolved that the next meeting will be held in person on September 26, 2024. Public work section beginning at 6 p.m. followed by executive session with public session resuming at approximately 7:30 at the Fairfield Municipal Building. Have a motion for adjournment?
Motion?
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you all. Enjoy the remainder of
Ew.
summer.